What's going on, Chiefs Kingdom? You are on another episode of Chiefs Focus Live. You're here with JP, Quentin, and Caleb. What's up, guys?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. How are you guys doing?
Not bad.
Just living another day here in Chiefs Kingdom. We've got some interesting news. We're going to go over the injury report, believe it or not, our thoughts against the Bears, and just overall the game. So that's today's plan.
Well, I just want to make note of one thing. There is no turf toe situation going on with Kadarius Toney. So for the people that put that out there on Twitter, stop. I'm just going to say it now. He sprained his big toe. It is what it is. End of it.
You want me to just go over the rest of the injury report right now?
Let's do that really quick, and then
Okay, so there are some definitely concerning a little bit. So Nick Bolton didn't practice on Wednesday or today.
Okay.
Willie Gay was limited in practice today. He did not practice on yesterday, so we're seeing to move up. That was a quad injury. Nick Bolton was an ankle. Richie James with a knee injury did not practice today or yesterday. Isaiah Pacheco was limited today, did not practice yesterday. We already talked about Kadarius Toney not practicing today or yesterday with a toe injury. There are a couple other guys on here that were full participants. Snead, Juwan Taylor, Nick Jones, Justin Watson, and Jalen Watson were all listed on the injury report, but were full participants today. So a couple guys that were limited, a lot of guys that were full participants, and I'm not even sure why they're on the injury report. But the Nick Bolton, Richie James, and Kadarius Toney are definitely the ones that are more concerning.
Yeah. I will tell you this. Richie James, you won't see him on the field for a few weeks. That's what I was told yesterday, and I don't think he's going to be here for at least a minimum of 2 weeks. I will say that. And don't be surprised if for some reason he ends up on the IR. So, yeah, that's what I was told. So just be prepared just in case, but he won't be here this week, and he most likely won't be here next week at all, unless miraculously he heals up a little quicker. Willie Gay basically had a bruise. When they call it a contusion, it's a bruise. It's not horrible, but they're just making sure he's ready to go for Sunday. So Isaiah Pacheco, they're just easing him back in. He played very well. He didn't get hurt, so he's fine. The rest of them, I mean, kind of is what it is.
What's wrong with Bolton again, Quentin?
It just says ankle injury. The fact that he didn't practice today or yesterday, I mean, that's a little concerning for me. We're going to need a solid linebacker core heading into this game because I know Justin Fields hasn't ran a ton this year, but I'll get this into my thoughts later in the show, but I think we're going to need solid linebacker play because I have a feeling that Justin Fields is going to try and run.
He might. I mean, what do you think?
I don't think you're wrong. I think what we're going to see also after a while with the whole situation with that is the Bears are going to come out firing. They're going to want to win because of all the drama and stuff they've been doing with this week. I mean, Justin Fields got accused of basically calling out the coaching, which he's not wrong. I mean, they're not letting him play to his strengths. They have a defensive coordinator who's resigned. Apparently, he got raided. I don't really know. So they're just doing a lot of issues and turmoil in this organization. They're going to want to try to basically do what they can to win. So if the Chiefs aren't doing what they're supposed to do, the Bears could end up stealing a game from them. So, and that's kind of what it comes down to when I look at this.
Yeah. I don't know that they can handle our defense even without a Nick Bolton, but I don't think Nick's not going to play. I just think that he may be a little limited in the game, but I don't think he's not going to play.
And maybe this is a game you let Chanel see what he can do.
Yeah. And you still got Tranquil, and you got a group of guys that are pretty damn good. So,
yeah, I mean, I've been talking about that all off season and heading into the season that the linebacking core is extremely deep. So, even if you don't have Nick Bolton in for a game, obviously, that's the quarterback of the defense. You don't want a guy like that to sit out. He's the one calling plays, but the talent level behind him, I don't think the drop off is so significant that you're losing level of play to really affect that. I would just feel more comfortable with a guy like Nick Bolton
Oh,
inside
yeah.
of the defense rather than trying to roll the dice on some of the other guys.
Well,
Justin Fields is a big guy. He needs
Mhm.
you need other big guys to tackle him.
Yeah.
Well, last
He's
week,
fast.
I mean, we saw that Bolton got hurt, and I think it was kind of his lower leg was bothering him. So I don't know. I mean, he played through and did very well. So this is just one of those things we're going to see how they're going to figure out eventually at the end of the day. So I don't know. I'm not worried, but I do feel like the Chiefs don't play their A game, and they do the same as they did last week. Offensively starting off slow and let the Bears in and give them chances. It's going to bite them. So
Yeah. I talked to a guy today, weirdly enough, that's a big Chicago guy, and he's pretty embarrassed by the team. And he mimicked exactly what I've been saying. And even Adam Rank has mimicked it to me and even on their show that their organization struggles. It's not just a team, it's not the players, it's the organization itself. They don't bring in quality coaches. They don't bring in they're not giving Justin Fields an opportunity to succeed, and I feel like that's horrible for him because he's a good quarterback. And I think he could shine somewhere else. But in this system, he's struggling. And he's going to continue to struggle, regardless if it's offensive problems or defensive problems. It affects the entire team. We know that. We've seen it happen. We've had those issues before. Go back to 2 years. If anybody remember that? We had internal issues that caused the entire team to kind of struggle.
Yep.
So it's just not good. But I feel the worst for him out of everybody. I feel terrible for him.
Oh,
But
yeah,
I will
'cause-
say this real quick, and then you guys go on. The Bears facility did not get freaking raided. I know that was put out by a certain group on Twitter that thinks they know everything. That is absolutely not the case. I don't know why they wanted to put that out there, but it did not happen. End of story. For everybody out there that read that and wanted to read into something that didn't happen, go right ahead. But I talked to 2 different people from Chicago. Both of them said that was an absolute falsehood. And whoever posted it, which I'm not going to say on here who it was, is probably going to get a lot of flack over that. So, and I know who posted it, but regardless, that was just a stupid thing to put out because it didn't happen. Go ahead. Move on.
What's weird about the Bears is that we look at the Bears as one of the historic franchises in the NFL, and they are, right? I mean, between them and the Packers have the longest standing rivalry in NFL history. The Bears go back to the founding before it was the NFL. And we talk about how great this franchise is just from a historical standpoint. And they just can't figure their shit out. And it has been they had Kyle Orton back in the day.
Yep.
That took them to mediocrity. And then before that, I mean, you have to go back. I mean, the 85 Bears obviously gets talked about a ton, but there's just nothing in between.
Well, if you want to go back 30 years, I mean, that's fantastic. But
it's like, what else have the Bears done? So it's just kind of crazy that you have such a historic franchise that just hasn't done anything. I can't think of another franchise in the NFL or in any sport really that you talk about a team, an organization, a franchise that is so significant to the league and has just been so irrelevant on the field.
I mean, I think when you look at it too, I mean, there have been some bright spots for the Bears, but there have been some moments where it's like they don't know what they're doing. And it's shown. I mean, with draft picks, coaching, I mean, we're getting the same guys. They're just kind of taking the same guys everyone else is having, and they're not like going out there making like those big moves. And it's just showing that they're going to just struggle continuously. And I hate for Justin Fields, but he cut off the coaching. I mean, I don't blame him. He kind of backtracked his comments, but I also feel like this too. He should request a trade after the season or something because I wouldn't want to be there. It's just too ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's no reason to be there or deal with that. You might as well just request a trade. Don't do the Kyler Murray where you get your money and then take your. I wouldn't get my money and then stay there because it's just going to get worse.
Yeah.
I just think he can find a team. There's some good teams out there that could still take him. I can think of a few right now. I mean, let's just say he gets traded to an AFC team and then doesn't work out there. He go to the Vikings. They have weapons. I mean, there's teams that could use a quarterback in the NFC, but mainly the AFC as well. So let's say the Tua, the Dolphins want to move on to Tua. That would be a great team. So there's options.
Fantastic in that offense.
There'd be options, but just kind of comes down to if and when it will happen.
You know
Because
where else?
people are already sounding the bell saying he should leave. So
I don't know.
He
if
should
he'd
leave.
be
He's
fantastic.
honestly, I thought and look, he came out flat out and came out and said that Nagy was the best coach that he had had. He has made that very clear, and Nagy gave him, the most tutelage out of everybody. Nagy is a quarterback's coach. He's also a great OC. So, they moved on because, and we talked about this on the show, 2 years ago, when we tried to get the Allen Robinson deal done. They didn't trust Nagy to make that deal, the organization themselves, when he had already brought him to the playoffs.
yeah.
So it's like,
I mean, I think with the fall of the Bears, they lost that playoff, with the double joint, and then everything just fell apart from that because everyone was so negative. Fortunately, if the Magic can't see Mark can be that negative after a blank game. The Bears just never recovered from that moment, and they weren't even a bad team. So,
yeah,
I don't know.
agree.
Different expectations, different media markets. It is what it is.
It's the third largest media market in the country.
That's crazy to think about.
There's a reason why they have 2 baseball teams.
Yeah. Their fan. They got the one thing you can give their fan. They got a loyal fan base.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. They got a great loyal fan base. So I don't know how they still do, but they do. Kind of reminds me of the Browns. The Browns got a great fan base.
Yeah.
They stuck with their team through all of this shit
Yes.
for 30 years, really longer. But I don't know. It's kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah, and it just shows us too. Some of these teams just do not learn. They do the same stuff over and over and over again, and nothing changes.
Yeah. I want to
Baffles
say
me.
really quick, I really feel bad for Diggs right now. If anybody saw the news that he tore his ACL, Trayvon Diggs.
Yeah, we got to be specific.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot. Yeah, I feel bad for him. And it was weird how he tore it because those type of practices, I don't think anybody really does anymore. And it was kind of weird that he was doing it, but it is what it is. It's kind of how it happened. But
What do you mean type of practice? What type of practice was this?
It's like I don't know if it was a sled style practice or if it was where he puts his body weight up against something. He runs, kind of pushes off of it and then runs to the side. Situations.
Well, they're not
like
doing that no more.
I guarantee it.
Jerry's shutting that down.
But I just feel bad for him. He's a great player. Probably a shut down corner. So I don't know. It's just sad.
I won't say shut down.
Interception, ball hawk corner.
He is a ball hawk, and he's made some. His numbers aren't bad. They're not. He's not Marcus Peters bad, but Marcus Peters was a ball hawk, but didn't. He was Mr. Olay. Trayvon Diggs isn't. He'll tackle somebody. You don't care. He will tackle someone. I don't know. Just sucks for him. Sucks for the Steelers. They got the next man up mentality. They got a guy that they're hoping will do it. So I can't think of his name right now. But
we'll see how the Cowboys figure it out. They'll probably make a mid-season trade or something will happen. I think they're going to be just fine.
Yeah. So I don't know. But yeah, that's it. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said that. But anyway, moving on. Moving towards this game. I don't think we're going to be missing too many players. We're definitely going to be missing Richie James, which Quentin is probably going to elevate somebody. You have to elevate someone, so why not be Ross? Just saying. Got to give the guy some snaps. So, just throwing it out there.
I'm just saying this would be the game you would like to see Justin Ross get some significant snaps.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I'd love to see it. This would be the best game to do it in. To be honest with you, it really would be. It'd be the best game to put him out there and give him the snaps he deserves. Kid's a great route runner.
Patrick Mahomes is going to have an hour and a half for each throw.
We hope.
The Bears have the worst defensive line in football. Last year, they had the worst defensive line in football, and they didn't do anything to improve it. So this defensive line is not going to get pressure on Patrick Mahomes. Whether Jawan Taylor is, one step back or 3 steps back from the line of scrimmage, he's going to be able to make his blocks. And I just don't see, when you go into an NFL game, even on a bad team, you're like, you want to focus on that one player where it's like, man, that guy, we gotta focus on him. Like the Raiders, right? They got Max Crosby on the defense.
Mhm.
So I know when I'm going into a game, they spent a high pick on him. He's a really good player. I need to focus in on him and make sure that he doesn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Every bad team has a player that you're like want to focus on. I don't think the Bears have that player on the defense.
I'm just scared for the fact that this comes to a game where we think the Chiefs are going to do good and then the Bears somehow keep it close. That's the thing that frustrates me because I've seen this happen so many times.
The Chiefs are not blowing out the Bears.
They're
It's not
not
happening.
Yeah, I don't
Remember
know
the
what's
Colts?
going to be. Yeah.
Colts last year, we didn't expect
This
that.
is something different, though.
The Chiefs went into overtime against the Texans.
Yeah,
But the Texans, I felt, were a better team than the record said they were. That's what I felt personally. They were more of a tougher
fought
team.
hard against the Titans, whose whose quarterback couldn't figure out how to throw a football.
Now that game, that shouldn't have been that late. That game shouldn't have been like that.
The Rams without Aaron Donald, Kansas City couldn't move the ball against.
But that's a top defense in the NFL. That game I can understand. That I even said on the show, I said they're not going to score a lot of points. You're playing against the Rams defense with Aaron Donald. I remember saying that verbatim on this show.
Yeah, it's hard to play. It's hard to play a team like the Rams with their defense and expect to put up 40. It's not going to happen. I mean, it's just not. But
Kansas City, with under the Patrick Mahomes era, Kansas City is under 500 against a double-digit spread, meaning that when Vegas thinks he's going to win by 10 or more points, less than half the time does Kansas City win by 10 or more points because Kansas City doesn't blow people out. How many times have we talked about on this show or Chiefs fans have talked about, man, I really wish we would just come out, throwing fists or just come out guns blazing. I want to score 21 points in the first quarter and then just keep gassing it up.
You think it's because it's scripted?
Yeah, the NFL's great. It doesn't happen. Andy Reid doesn't do it, or we know that when the Chiefs get up, they don't want to. Andy Reid doesn't want to, tip his playbook too far and get too deep in it because why would I? There's a little bit of gamesmanship to that in that sense. So no, the Chiefs are not. And once again, I'll talk about this in my believe it or not in my score prediction. Kansas City's not going to come out and beat the Bears by 21, 24 points.
You don't even think this is going to be a thing with Nagy being, going against the team that fired him?
No, I don't think so.
Well, the last time
because Nagy's not the head coach in Kansas City.
True. It's true.
Well, I will say this: when it comes to the last time the Chiefs played the Bears, I think Mahomes had like 2 touchdown passes, a little over 200 yards, and it was basically a vanilla offense game because they knew they could win.
Yeah.
So I would say maybe we're going to see something maybe a little similar. Maybe Mahomes does throw for 4 touchdowns over 300 yards. That's very possible too. But I also feel like there's a good chance it's going to be one of the things where the Chiefs get out to a good lead and they're just kind of slowly over time work different things and to get that lead 10 points, if that, and then win by that.
Yeah. And we didn't talk about that. Mahomes on his birthday threw for over 300 yards, and he has the most 300-yard games in the time period that he has in the history of football by a mile. Nobody's come close to that by the age of 27. So shout out to Patrick Mahomes for that. That's a sick feat. Another record that probably won't get broken. So for a very long time. But I agree. I mean, I don't know. This is one of those games that it could be Caleb, you could be 100% on. This could be a freaking trap game. I mean,
I wouldn't say it's going to be a trap game because we've already lost one and we know how it feels. The other year, it was basically didn't get our teeth kicked in until they played against a team like this, but we already got that loss out of the way. I feel like this is going to be more of let's fill this out. We don't know. We know this team is not great. They're going through some turmoil, so we're going to need to play our A game, but we don't need to basically add the sprinkles and the chocolate syrup and the cherries to the vanilla offense. They're just going to keep it plain. They may add a little bit of, let's say, some sweetener, but that's probably going to be it.
A little trickery.
Hey, look, I think the Bears are going to throw everything, including the kitchen sink, at the Chiefs.
Oh, yeah, of course. It's
absolutely.
This is it's more than that. It's more than just you're facing Kansas City. It's that at this point, the Bears, let's be honest, have been embarrassed, right? Notice the ticker. they have been a bad football team playing god-awful football. Your defensive coordinator just got into legal trouble. Your quarterback just talked about how you're a bad coach, and you've come out flat. All right, flat as a 2-liter sitting in the garage that was opened at Christmas last year. Okay, flat. And you got to come out and do something for your job, for your fans, and honestly, probably for yourself, right? You got to get yourself some confidence. You're looking for a moral victory here, okay? At the very least. But you're going to come out and try and win this football game.
Fizz, are you talking about the Chicago defense or the Kansas City defense?
So I think that they're going to be going when it's 4th and 1 on, the 49-yard line, on the 40-yard line. They're going for it. When you want to punt the ball, they're going to try and do a fake punt. They're not going to kick field goals. They're going to try and score touchdowns. And this is not just because it's Kansas City. This is truly a moment for them to try and prove that they are not just a bad football team, that they still have some fight in them. I truly believe that's what this game is going to look like for the Bears.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of tend to agree with Fizz on this. I think the defense is riding on a high right now that they just don't want to lose that momentum. So no matter who they play, they're going to come out and just say, you know what, this is us. I'm him. They're going to pull the Stephon Diggs. I'm him. And I feel like this defense wants to do that all season long. I know Justin Reed does. And for everybody that's out there that's bashing him, he's the leader of the defense or the secondary, so get off his back. I think this might be right on that. This might be one of their things, so we'll just have to see. I heard on a couple of guys on Twitter say that they thought this might be a trap game, but I kind of agree with you, Caleb. I didn't think about the first loss, because it kind of wasted the game. But now it's not really going to be a trap game.
Well, normally what happens is this. The Chiefs, and how I say this the nicest way, they basically ignore the problems until it comes to a loss, but we start off the season with a loss. It's like, okay, so we see the problems. Normally in the past, the Chiefs start 4-0, that foreign joke everyone loves to say. Quentin, I know we haven't had a chance to say in the last couple of years, but they start off 4-5-0, then they end up losing. Then we see there's obvious issues, and they don't fix them, and all of a sudden the loss happens. Like, okay, we'll fix the issue. I am kind of happy we did get the loss out of the way. Now, obviously, there's a chance they could lose other games as well in this 17-game season. So, but I do feel like they got that loss out of the way. They kind of already know what's expected, what's going to happen. They know this team is going to be fighting. I believe Andy has probably told them that. Andy's been around football for a long time. He knows these different things. Now, if any of them don't prepare them, which I don't think is going to happen, and say they don't prepare them, that's a L for the coaching staff. That's just a huge L for not allowing them to be prepared for a team that's going to be hungry. A running quarterback, Justin Fields, has literally nothing to lose because everybody's trashing right now when it's really not his fault. So
no, it's not. It hasn't been his fault. I mean,
he needs to ask for a trade.
He does. Philip said, I see Fields having a rough outing Sunday. I see him getting sacked 4 times. That's not out of the question with the way our line's been playing.
I'm going to say this, and people can agree with me.
Don't answer that. Don't answer that. That might be a believe it or not. Oh, no spoilies.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
I'll say my 2 cents with the whole Chiefs. I'll say that later for you, Quentin. I'll say it later.
Well, there's been a few injuries in the league. A few injuries with us. I looked and seen, some of these injuries and where they came from. It is leading this year towards, I think it's about 82% or 82.9% of the injuries this year are on turf. What do you guys think? You think the league should still move on from turf? I still believe
they should, but will they? Probably not, because it's cheap. These billionaires want to save money.
Yeah, and you can host more events on turf.
And the only way this is going to happen if the NFL just does the cost, just cuts the cost, and that's the only way that's happening. Which they may have to. You have grass and you have turf.
Yeah.
Or you can have it to where someone would probably take the sponsorship of doing it for a pretty good deal. So it just comes to a point where, look, too many great players are going to hurt. It's not good for the game. Some injuries are unavoidable. Some of them, it's like the turf is really hurt, and some fields have had a history of this happening. So, again, we're just kind of wait and see.
Yep, I guess so. I kind of like the way the Raiders did it with that retractable field.
Well, yeah,
And
I mean that's all they
Arizona
have to
did it as
do.
well.
These teams can find something. They have the NFL can help with the billions and billions of dollars. They're expanding into Europe right now. There's money. There's money. If you can expand to Europe and try to expand there, and also Mexico and South America and Central America, you have money to add stuff like this to help.
And what they're trying to do with the CFL too. So,
they are. What are they trying to do?
They're trying to buy the CFL. Trying to get that under wraps. They want the CFL. They want it. They want basically everything under their umbrella, like an umbrella of the NFL. Is basically what.
How will that work? I mean, what do you mean? Like they're going to be part of the league?
They're going to be owned by the NFL. That's what they want. They want it
like another farm league.
No, not really a farm league, but more of just owning out of the country. They want to own the CFL. That way they can move their players around. And
I know it's just kind of their weird rules are a lot different. I mean, obviously there can be a translation, but some of the stuff it's kind of like. I mean, I guess, but I don't really know how it's going to benefit. But maybe they probably just see the dollar signs too.
That's all they're seeing, the money. So,
and maybe they'll have a couple of those teams eventually convert over in the whatever they as a one NFC team, one AFC team in Canada. Maybe that's what they're trying to get to as well.
Could be.
I can't believe they don't play in Canada.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I can't believe that Buffalo doesn't have a home game in Toronto.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean they're so close.
Yeah, well, and I think there's a lot of Canadian fans that if you're a fan of the NFL, aren't you a fan of Buffalo? Isn't that like their market?
Or Seattle.
I'm surprised that Jacksonville plays in London every year. Mm-hmm. I'm surprised that Buffalo doesn't play in Toronto every year.
Yeah, I agree. I know one Canadian Chiefs fan, and that's Tom Harrington, and he's actually a national CNN or not CNN, ABC or CBS reporter, and he's the only guy I know that actually is a Chiefs fan. And he lives in Canada. I think it's Alberta or someplace. But anyway, moving forward. Want to get into the believe it or nots, or what do we got next?
Yeah, we can. Let me open up my my notes here because I'm a professional.
You got your notes.
I do. I do take a lot of notes. Patrick Mahomes, believe it or not, Patrick Mahomes will throw for 3 touchdowns. Caleb, take it away.
I'm going to say yes. I think we're going to see some shovel passes, nothing over the top, just some small, quick passes here and there. There can be some chuck plays, but I think he can get 3 touchdowns. I believe it.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's going to get 3. This is going to be the game that he comes out and shows everybody that he can play the game. That he hasn't lost anything because of the wide receiver issues. Apparently, Thiz absolutely agrees.
And Scott.
We got 2 yeses. So this may be a 4 touchdown game for him. And maybe I'll say that now. It may be a 4 touchdown game for him.
I'd like to direct you to my lower third on my screen. I'm going to say no, and here's why. I don't think that Kansas City is going to run a very complicated offense. I think Kansas City is going to throw a lot of short passes. There will be 1 deep ball the entire game, and it will go to
Justin Ross.
It will go to MVS, and that'll be the only opportunity Kansas City has to have a 60-yard touchdown, a 45-yard touchdown. Other than that, it's going to be a lot of on the ground, and I think Kansas City sort of does a lot of the opposite of what they did last week. Not that they're going to just only run the ball, but I think you're going to see the running backs used more than literally 1 time in the first half. And it's going to be effective because the Bears defensive line is a bunch of scarecrows, and the Kansas City offense is going to run the ball quite a bit. So Pacheco's going to have a day. I think this is the perfect game for Clyde, and Clyde's going to get his touches. And Patrick Mahomes is not going to be the superstar that he usually is because the opportunities simply aren't going to be there.
Well,
I don't believe it.
I agree with a lot of things you say, but I do not want to see Clyde get the ball that much. But unfortunately, you probably are.
The only way I want to see that is if he's getting traded to Chicago after the game.
Or, like what happened in Moneyball, where you trade him before the game starts, and where it's like, oh, look, You just can't use them tonight.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not gonna be upset if Patrick Mahomes throws for 3 touchdowns.
Oh yeah.
Patrick Mahomes doing Patrick Mahomes things is way more exciting than watching any running back do what they do.
Oh yeah.
But I
easily.
just think that this is going to be a very simple game because you don't have to do anything complicated.
I feel like Kelsey's going to come out and
I hope
score.
so. I need
Be
him
very,
for my fantasy
very
game.
effectful.
Kelsey will catch a
effective.
solo pass touchdown. I'm calling it now.
So you got one right there, and then you got to figure he's going to easily get 2 more, whether it be one deep ball to like MVS or Ross. I mean, I'm just throwing Ross out there. You never know. It could be Ross. It just could be Ross. I don't know. I'm just saying. I feel like 3 touchdowns this is the game that I feel like everybody wants to prove something on this Chiefs defense off our team right now, period. And I know Kelsey is just chomping at the bit to get out there and not be on a snap count. I mean, that's the one thing he doesn't want to be on again. That was just killing him. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I just have a feeling they're going to come out strong. And I feel like the defense like this, I think this is their don't forget about us because we're friggin' here. No matter who we play, we're here. So we'll see. I see a pick 6 coming from the defense.
Okay.
I do.
It's hard to get a pick 6 when you can't throw the football.
Well, they might try to throw the football, though. You know, if they come out guns a-blazing like you think they're going to, he may just try. And if he does, McDuffie's going to be right there in his face. And I think McDuffie or Snead, one of those two is going to get a pick 6. That's what I feel like. One of those two guys. Saying it.
Well, I hope it happens.
Save it, mark it down, whatever you got to do. Take a picture.
32-15.
5 field goals for the Bears at that point. I'm just take the Bears kicker.
Oh no, that was the timestamp in the show.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
32-15. Yep, 32-15.
All right, let's move on to numero dos. The Chiefs defense limit fields to under 30 yards on the ground. Believe it or not.
Yes. Sorry. Had to spit it out. Yes. Sorry, but yes. Go ahead. That's all I got to say.
No, I was just going to disagree with you. I think this is the game he runs more than 30 yards because the media is saying, you're not letting him do what he does best. I think he unfortunately gets about 50 yards.
Do you think Fields going to get 50 yards against our defense?
Yes.
Oof, man.
I'm just telling you, every time it looks
33-02.
like the Chiefs should be able to do something great. It doesn't really happen. I think Fizz agrees with me. Scott agrees with you guys, but Fizz agrees with me on this one. So, see, Fizz and I understand. We see from the background of the pain of the years where the Chiefs should be doing something. They just don't do it. Don't worry. I'll get to when your sack question. I'll finally say my piece. What I really want to say.
Okay. I'm with Caleb on this one. I think Justin Fields goes for over 30, and I've got a couple of reasons why. Okay. I think one, he's going to be under a ton of pressure. Anytime he drops back to pass, you want to talk about how inept this defensive line is. The offensive line is just as bad. Okay. So I think when they drop back to pass, they're going to be under a lot of pressure. What does a young, athletic quarterback do when they're under pressure? They scramble. They get out of the pocket.
Yep.
And I think that while this offense or this defense showed the ability to play sideline to sideline last week, Justin Fields is a whole other beast than shovel passes to your wide receivers. I think Justin Fields is going to have not a day like his greatest showing, but over 30 I think is totally reasonable. Mostly because I think he's going to bust out one 15-yard run.
Say it has to be one big run.
And then from then on, he can nickel and dime it for the rest of the game, and he'll break that 30-yard mark. So I think that Justin Fields is going to be the leading rusher on the Bears side, and he's going to be a big part of their offense.
Okay. Believe it or not, Justin Fields gets hurt running the ball for 50 yards. Just okay. Anyway, what's Tommy got to say here? Tommy said the biggest thing is to get the win and get out of the game healthy. Agreed. What's the next one you got there?
Believe it or not, Chiefs sack Fields 4 times.
All right, here's the time for my rant. Every single time the Chiefs go against a team with an offensive line that is not good, they have 3 rookies starting, lose all their great players. The Chiefs can, for some reason, not get sacks. They just can't get sacks. I'm just saying, it's the truth. And I was trying to say earlier, but Quentin cut me off 2 different times. I'm going to say they cannot get sacks. So if they get a sack, I would be surprised. But I'm telling you right now, I've seen this happen so many times where they go against a team and they have a rookie right tackle, and Frank Clark cannot get a sack, or Chris Jones cannot break the double team. I think 1 to 2, but 4, I just can't see 4 happening.
Okay. I'm going to go with 3. I'm just going to go with 3. And the reason I'm going that route is because we don't have the same defensive line coach as we had in the past. Joe Cullen has changed his defensive line. He really has. I mean, and Chris Jones is hell-bent on making sure he makes his mark this season. So I'm going to say 3. I'm going to leave it at that.
So that is a no then.
That is a no. 36-13.
Jesus, man.
So-
I'm going with yes. I'm going
You
with
have
yes
too much
because
faith, Quentin. You know better. You know better.
I think, well, let's just walk through it. I think George Karlaftis coming off the edge is going to get at least 1. Okay.
Okay.
Chris Jones shows that he's coming back with a vengeance and he's ready to just fight some people. Okay. So I'm going to give him 1. And then, so between Mike Dana or FAU or the other guys, can I get, maybe a 1.5 sacks from them, which means Karlaftis could get a cleanup, or Kansas City blitzes with a Chamari Connor and gets a sack from there? I think I can get to 4.
Okay.
So
I like what you're saying.
You just, Quentin, I'm just surprised with you with history. You should know this.
I know. Well, I know, but y'all let's see. I disagree with JP every single time. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, he does. He absolutely does.
By
I
the
think
way,
we're about
at the end of
50-50
the
on
year,
that too.
we're going to have a special segment, and I'm going to love it. You guys are going to hate it, but I'm going to love it. It's going to be called Quentin is the most accurate Chiefs focus
Lord.
analysis.
Oh my God!
It's going to take up the whole hour.
All right.
Well, Tommy said,
Just-
didn't they
I'm
get
just
4
letting you
last game? Fields can run, and that might prevent a lot of sacks. But I'm betting we get 4.
I think he's going to run into a lot of sacks. I think there's going to be, 2 of the sacks that they get, he's going to run into them.
Head
I
first.
really think that Fields is just going to scramble all game because their wide receivers can't get separation. If the Chiefs go down and score relatively quickly, I think they're just going to abandon the run game because that offensive line is not going to be able to create any holes. So they're going to drop back to pass. Fields, the only yardage he's going to get early in the game is going to be from scrambling, and he's going to scramble and he's going to run into a Chamari Connor, a Snead. They'll send a linebacker on a blitz. That's how I think this game goes.
Every time you see that hole in the middle of the defensive line, every time you see that hole, if you ever notice, going back to last year, there's a gap right in the middle of the defensive line for the Chiefs. And in fact, I was yelling on the PSF app. I thought, why are they doing this right now? Because it didn't look like it was a good time to do it. And then all of a sudden, boom, right up the middle, you got a linebacker. And I don't remember who it was. I think it was Willie Gay. Came right up the middle, but Chris Jones ended up getting the sack. And I was like, oh, hell yeah, this is why. So anytime you see that wide open gap in the middle of the defensive line, just plan on seeing somebody bust through that line fairly quickly. So, because that's been going on since Cullen's been here. He's kind of revamped the way their packages are totally different. Their scheme's totally different. I love it.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I don't know what else we got, man. I mean,
The score predictions.
Oh, we got those. I forgot. Shit, it's Thursday.
It is.
Okay, who wants to go first? Quentin, you go, man.
10-27 Chiefs.
What? Did you say 10-27 Chiefs?
Yeah.
Okay, that's just a weird way. Okay, all right, go ahead.
Okay, 27-10 Chiefs. I think that they're going to be able to get a field goal because shutouts in the NFL are absolutely so rare.
Oh God, I love Scott. Go ahead.
Like I said, Kansas City's not going to be able to. They're not blowing out the Bears, right? We've already gone over that. But Kansas City's going to have a sizable lead, and they'll get a late touchdown to sort of make it a little bit better. So
Okay.
I'm crying a little.
Okay, 27-10. I was going to say 26-10. The only reason why I would say that because I think the Chiefs are going to get quite a few field goals this game. So I would take Butker on your fantasy team this time around. There's some chances they're just not going to make that many big old plays. So take Butker, 26-10.
Okay, I'm going to go. This is the game that the offense finally shows up and proves to everybody that they're an offense. And I'm going to say 31-14 Chiefs.
Okay.
That's what
So
I'm
they got to be fine offense on there. So that sounds like some vanilla ice cream with some sprinkles and some
Couple
chocolate.
sprinkles.
you want like diabetes type deal.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want somebody to have to get shots.
You want someone to just
Maybe that shit in their arm, that's always there.
You just want them to just eat a bag of sugar. That's what
I
you're
want.
looking for.
That's what
All
I want.
I'm saying is that's the only way I can vanilla offense. I mean, it's good. I mean, there comes some good vanilla ice cream. That
That's
could
right.
be the Bluebell,
want
but you get the other stuff is not great.
Yeah, I
So
want
maybe we'll get the vanilla ice cream that tastes good with just a little bit of sugar. No, sorry, a little bit of chocolate sauce on it. Hershey's.
I want the vanilla bean. I
Mm.
want the best vanilla ice cream out there, hand churned, whatever you want to call it.
Mm.
I want to see them just come out and prove who they are, and I'd like to see the defense hold them to less than 14 points.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'd like to see, because I want the Chiefs. Look, I'm tired of the Chiefs being disrespected. I'm tired of their defense being disrespected. Right now, they're ranked 6th overall. I think that's bullshit. If you look at their stats all the way around,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you look at each different zone, if you look at all of them as individually, I don't know, man. I mean, I think they're ranked top 2.
Yeah.
I understand why they have Dallas number 1 right now.
Oh,
I understand
easily.
that. They're killing
The
people.
Chiefs are going to get there. They're going to get there as long as they're a
Yeah.
top 10 defense. I
Especially
think
when a
they're-
minute who gets back.
Yes.
Oh God, that's going to be dangerous.
Mhm.
What's up, Chiefs Live? Throw your score prediction out there. What do you got, Thiz? You ain't said a dang thing about scores. Let's hear your score prediction.
Tommy said 28-9 Chiefs. 3
I
field
like
goals
that.
again. No
I like it,
touchdowns.
Tommy. I like it, Tommy. Hey, if they hold them to no touchdowns, that'll definitely push us right up there to number 3, easy number 3 in the NFL. And then everybody can, go thank Justin Reed, because you've been saying it since the beginning of actually before the season, well before the season started. This is going to be a historic defense.
Mm-hmm.
So
This is a 28-13.
28-13 Thiz has got. Okay, that's cool.
16-7. No, that's too bad of an offensive performance. 1 touchdown and 3 field goals. I think Chiefs Keenan would be not happy. It's like,
Yeah.
we should be blowing them out. I can already see the answers now. People just complaining. So
Oh God, I still can't get over the Scott. That was good. Scott just came out of nowhere with this one right here, and I just want to say that on the screen. Got to figure out how to say that. Anyway.
Football knowledge.
he said the like of football. Now.
My brain just keeps swelling from football knowledge.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's just my forehead is gonna be like Peyton Manning throughout his career.
Yep.
He's gonna keep.
just growing and growing and growing.
That's terrible. Somebody made a meme. It kind of pissed me off. They made a
He
meme.
sounds so old right now.
Did you see that meme that they made of? It said Patrick Mahomes throwing to I don't remember who, one of our wide receivers, and it was that commercial of Peyton Manning hitting the kids.
Yeah, I know,
in the
because they
back.
weren't catching the
Yeah.
Manny SNL
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about.
What the hell, man? That right there should just make Mahomes want to go out and throw for 4 touchdowns, right there, and no picks.
Well, it was response to the first game of the season where they just kept dropping passes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but it's funny. It is funny because I bet he was irritated. But he's a team guy. Worked with each and every one of them. Was able to get them kind of where they need to be. So,
Yep.
just kind of one of the attributes of Mahomes. He didn't give up on them. They didn't give it up. He didn't give up on them. They didn't give up on him. And it just kind of worked out.
Yep. I see this. Look, man, when this offense gels, and it may just be this game that we see a big gel, which I think it will be,
Mhm.
it's going to be dangerous
Yeah.
with this defense. This is a dangerous football team with this offense. I'm just telling
Mhm.
you. So
I do have one topic before we go, and it won't take long at all.
let's do it.
When we're looking at the NFL, we've seen a lot of different things, specifically the AFC. Who do you think right now is the biggest threat to the Chiefs in the AFC, and why? I'm just gonna hear from you guys' thoughts. We'll finish it up and we can be done. So I'm gonna start for Quentin. Who do you think is the biggest threat to the Chiefs in the AFC right now?
I'm gonna get
He's gonna
roasted
steal
in
mine.
the comments.
Okay, we'll do.
It's the Dolphins.
Okay.
Explosive offense. I think that defense is only going to get better. I'm a big believer in Vic Fangio. We saw what he did in Denver, right? As a head coach and what that defense was. Yeah, they couldn't beat Kansas City, but those games were
Or
always
make the playoffs, but
it was the offense that gave them problems, right? It was the fact that they didn't have a quarterback. When we faced Denver during the Vic Fangio era, the conversation was never, man, we're just going to bulldoze that defense. It was always, their quarterback is Paxton Lynch. That was the conversation. So I think that defense is only going to get better. How can you not watch this offense and just be excited to watch just a great offense do its thing? I don't care who you are. It's always fun to watch good football, and the Dolphins are grade A football right now.
Yeah.
So it's the Dolphins.
I have to agree with them. That's who I was going to say is the Dolphins. I mean, I don't know if their defense – look, Fangio's a good defensive coordinator. I'm not going to say he's not, but I think their offense is the reason why they're so exciting to watch. I don't know if their defense is going to be top 5. I don't know. We don't know that yet. But they haven't really played anybody to say, oh, shit, this is the team, you know. But it's an exciting football team, and they can put some points up. As long as Tua stays healthy, they're going to put up some points.
And I was going to say,
wide receivers for that matter.
And I was going to say the same thing. The Dolphins. I mean, any other team. I mean, I guess you could say the Chargers, but at this point, I agree with you guys. The first team I was in with the Dolphins. They just have a lot of firepower. Anything can happen on any given day with that team. I do think the Chiefs could win, but it's going to take a Herculean effort, if that's how I pronounce it right. That type of effort in order to beat this team because they're just that good and they have so many weapons. It's going to be a literal chess match between Andy Reid, Matt Nagy, Daniels, and then also Vic Fangio. I mean, it's going to be a little chess match to see who can win because they're just both that good. And the one thing the Chiefs have that the Dolphins don't have is that we know Tyreek Hill, we know how to stop him. Yeah. So I think they're going to be fine, but it's going to be a tough game.
It'll be.
And who's got more Super Bowls as a DC right now? Between Spags and
Vic Spags has 4, right?
Yeah.
Been to 5.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
that is fair.
Actually, 1-3.
He's won 3.
He's won 3 and he's been to 5.
No,
that's right.
No,
he's more than that.
The Giants for both of them
twice.
Yep.
Yes, that's 2.
Then the Chiefs 2, and then another time the Chiefs will make it 5, but they only won 4.
We've been to 5 Super Bowls and won 4. So
he has, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm just saying.
The only defensive coordinator to win a Super Bowl with 2 teams.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
That's saying something.
And he's done it, and he's won 2 with each team.
That's right. And then you add in, you have our defensive line coach that is really a DC. He's a defensive coordinator. He's just really good with the defense.
Yeah, we're going to lose him at some point.
I know, and it blows.
Oh, yeah. It's going to happen, fortunately.
You know what somebody said the other day, and I started thinking about it, and I don't know if Spags will want to do this or not, but there's people out there that think he's going to get a head coaching job next year in offense.
I don't think he's doing that again.
He wants to. No, I don't think he wants to. But Cullen, I mean, I guess it's going to come down to whether he wants to stick with the team, knows what he's doing, get the rings, versus going out and trying to be a head coach or even a defensive coordinator somewhere. And, Spags does only have 1 ring with the Giants. That's right. He wasn't with them both years.
Okay. Well, 3 Super Bowls is not bad. Nothing to sniff at.
No, nothing at all. But regardless, I just don't know. It's really kind of his mindset. He's been on both sides. He's been a defensive coordinator. He's been
a head coach.
A head coach
with the Rams.
The St.
Louis Rams.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I don't see either one of those guys wanting to be a head coach again. I think they're pretty comfortable where they're at. Or even I don't think Joe Cullen would want to take on the responsibility of another football team at this point. I think he sticks around for another year or 2.
Okay.
So that's just my opinion. I could be completely wrong, but I just feel like he's comfortable. He's got a great team. He's doing great things. everybody's bragging about him, which, they did a little bit of that prior, but not nearly as much as changing a defense the way he's changed our defense.
Mm-hmm.
And you got players out there that just want to play with him and for him because of what he's done.
Mm.
And that, to me, just on a side note, I think that would be a precursor to getting Chris Jones signed to a longer term deal prior to the end of his contract with us this year. I feel like that's going to be a big thing. If Cullen sticks around, we have the money. We're going to pay Chris Jones. Or for some reason, if they don't get it done before his contract's up, they'll just tag him and then get it done.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like he's not going anywhere. So
Mm-hmm. No,
Phillips said Phillips got 38-24 Chiefs,
okay.
putting up some points. So, I mean, not unheard of. So, well, fellas, with that being said, do we have anything else?
No, we covered everything.
All right. Well, we will talk to you guys again on Sunday. Make sure you join the PSF app. PSF. Scott, make sure you're on there. Tommy, we're giving out Power Fan Awards, and that's something you want to make sure you're a part of. So download it. Doesn't cost you a damn thing, and you're going to have fun doing it. With that being said, we'll talk to you guys again on Sunday after the game. Peace out, everybody.